Hi guys, my name's Crystal, and
be in
I am Megan's ENFP best friend. And yeah, don't worry, she's still supervising this from afar. But
if she says anything that I disapprove of in my channel,
she will be here for the consequences to be administered appropriately live. But so earlier, I just really enjoyed talking to a whole bunch of you guys about the differences between FI and TI and how we have a theory that FI, or like when you're using one of those functions, the other one turns off. And this kind of, I think, works for like FE, TE, NESE, NISI. And I just kind of wanted to expand more on my views of that. And also, I guess if anyone tunes in and asks questions, I will not roll my eyes as I was doing earlier when some of you were commenting, and I'll actually like respond. But I think as an ENFP, I'm always constantly making parallels to like multiple realities in which certain theories work, but I never commit to any of them. And I think this is why ENFPs can seem kind of flaky in general. And I ultimately just think that I really want to address like some of the questions that maybe some NI users or some TI users have about ENFPs through, I guess, this live, which
I just realized, just so you know, that since we are on the Pacific Coast, everyone's probably asleep. It's like literally everyone.
Oh shit! Yeah, no one's tuned in yet.
Yeah, one person did, but just keep going, and then we can. People can watch later if they're asleep.
Yeah. Okay. I guess everyone who's gonna watch later, I will still go out of my way to respond more to your comments. But so to expand on earlier what I was going through, essentially, I had a situation in which, like, I guess I was like paranoid about a specific emotional situation regarding a TJ, and instead of perhaps letting myself like examine the evidence and obtain some clarity, I was more content to like not think about it and to maybe kind of repress any TI confusion I had about it. But this time I actually tried to like dig into my NI and TI and think, okay, what about my worldview makes me so upset about the prospect of this person potentially having like another like girlfriend or something? And in my mind, it was really more consistent with how I view relationships objectively. And I think that FI and TI, I think TI is definitely less concerned with protecting itself, as Megan said earlier. And FI is really concerned with protecting itself. But I think it's because FI wants to make sure at all times that it's prepared for something even worse down the road. And it's at all times having like full emotional health and such. And I think that this, like, usually we like set up some TE rules because one experience can scar us so much that we'll like analyze it to death in our heads. Like, what about the situation made this happen? What do I have to watch out for next time? And that's how I think a lot of FI users can end up very jaded and very protective of themselves. I know several NFPs who actually have not dated people in a few years because they felt so scarred by one specific relationship. When an ENFJ, a friend I have actually observing those kinds of situations, is like, oh, boo-hoo, so Frankie broke your heart in middle school like once and now you can never love again. Like, oh my God, it was middle school. Like, why can't you get over it? And so sometimes when FI
and SI can't get over shit.
Yeah, FI and SI cannot get over shit. It's like for me to even share and admit that I am afraid that I will never be loved is fundamentally like admitting I have like a weakness and makes me feel like really pathetic. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know, I already feel pathetic by myself. If I tell someone I feel pathetic, like how can they do something worse to me that I haven't already thought of about myself? And I think that this is actually something that can really set an NFP free. When you realize that perhaps you yourself are your harshest critic and on some level might internalize shame about your FI emotions. Because I was actually talking to an INFP friend about dealing with like the inferior TI of her ESFJ mother. And she was talking about how she doesn't want to admit that her mom hurt her at times because she's afraid it will make her like look weak. And I'm like, but by trying to avoid your mom's TI, she's already picked up something is wrong because she can see the TI that you have that you're not saying. So aren't you already like stuck between a rock and a hard place. So then the solution, I think, is to let yourself get to as pathetic in your perception of a point as possible. And then you'll actually find that you're being like set free in a way. I think that when NFPs feel really bad about a certain situation, we'll start like internalizing we'll start like kind of internalizing it as something wrong with us, and to even admit it and let ourselves hit rock bottom in our perception is actually something for us to jump off of. And, you know, like something I've just learned from the day I've had kind of repressing, like letting myself feel super like pathetic and trying to like pretend I'm strong. I realized that TI really does give more credit than I realize when sometimes it seems harsh, because TI kind of knows it's always in control of its emotions in a way that FI doesn't. FI will be like, oh, like I can't help that that bad thing happened to me, so I'm just gonna like kind of sulk until it passes, as opposed to like actively seeking inspiration or seeking new pleasures to take my mind off of it and let it heal itself. It's almost like we'll like look at a cut we have and be like, oh my god, like this cut is so like it's so obvious, it's so painful, oh my god. But it's almost like you have to like take your focus off it for it to like properly do its job. And what I do, I think, as someone with TE third, is I try to I try to like withdraw from the situation and like observe my thoughts, but then sometimes I don't really know what I'm seeing. So then when it comes to talking to someone like Megan will tell me what it is I'm seeing, but I have to voice what I suspect my NI and TI are reacting to before she can even do such a thing. And scary things, I think, for me as an NFP, maybe other NFPs later can tell me if you relate to this, is saying, I believe this is this. Because it feels like such an absolute statement. Like it feels like so like, wow, we must be really presumptuous to think that we could think something and believe something when really everything could be a fluke and all we have are our own emotions. And I think often my TE will look at all the facts of a situation and not know how to connect all of them. It is almost like it requires the faith that there is an explanation that connects all of them that will give me the motivation and energy to continue digging. Because I think often I don't dig into what my TI really believes, because I believe it's a fruitless endeavor and it's ultimately just going to lead to more exhaustion than I already feel. And I think the number one thing with inferior SI, and maybe some INFPs can relate to this too with tertiary SI, is I just don't want to be as exhausted as I am all the time, feeling triggered or tripping on my own emotions because everything affects me so deeply. And so, yeah, I wanted to like kind of address that. And there were some comments from earlier live stream that I wanted to maybe say. I think someone, maybe an FE user, asked if FI users see other people's FI, because they seem like, especially NFPs, they seem like they ignore other people's FE. And I will say that, yes, I do react a lot to other people's FI. Megan can certainly attest to this, that I'll like pick up on the FI. And okay, it's different than reacting to it correctly, but I will on some level be able to read that it's there or not there. And the way I respond might be different than maybe the appropriate response that's kind and such, but I'll always be cognizant of it. So I'm thinking like if someone's like, I'm fine, or like an FE user tries to gloss over their emotion, I can like pick up if they're lying or not based on the way they say it, the words they choose, the tone. And if they're lying about it, I'll feel like a responsibility, like to say whether or not I agree. Like I'll be like, oh, I think you're lying, and like try to pry and like help them process it for their own good, or let them continue being the way they are and hopefully have trust that they'll fix it themselves. And I think I was actually, we were talking about this earlier, me and Megan, about the idea that FE users, when they say, I'm fine, what they're not trying to say, everything's fine, haha, I'm lying to myself. What they're really trying to say is, I got it, I'm taking care of it, and I don't need you.
Yep.
Yes.
Guys, sorry, I'm too tired to be on camera, really, but...
Well, I guess if I say something that's really inaccurate, I know that you'll have the energy somehow to be like, no! Like, if I was like, Megan's last name is not LeVota, you'd be like, yes, it is!
Well, yeah, that's like what I realized, is that whenever I say I'm fine, it doesn't necessarily mean that nothing bad is happening.
And I think FI thinks that you're saying that.
And a way that I put it to her is that everyone always has the feeling deep down at the back of their minds that you're going to die one day. So by that logic, are you ever fine? Because most people probably have something bad on their mind.
With every second, we come one step closer to death. With every second that passes, we are 1 second closer to death.
That person, or Sulin, probably said you look nice because in comparison, I'm so tired.
Whoa! I mean, maybe she said that before.
No, you do. You do look nice. I'm not saying you don't, but it's funny to me the timing of I'm like,
hey, Crystal,
tired person. All of a sudden you look.
That's funny.
Amazing.
So, okay, God came down from his throne to speak upon the channel, and does God want to continue talking, or does God want to go back?
Hi, Denzel. What's up?
Hi. Oh my God, people actually are talking to us. I was like, I'm talking to the void. That's why I hate making videos, because I don't know who I'm talking to.
She has a channel.
Oh, why did you say that?
But she feels more comfortable using my channel because she likes to have an audience.
Yeah, I don't want to go out of my way.
I built it from the ground up, baby. So
hey, well, we collab on some of these ideas. Okay. But yeah, EPs are definitely better at one-on-one interactions. I can crack anyone in a one-on-one interaction, but when it comes to a group, I'll be very stressed out. And when there's no one commenting, I don't know what the group's thinking. The group would be like, who the fuck is this bitch? I'm not even going to bother tuning in. So I don't know, but that's my cross to bear. Back to what I was saying. Oh, NFPs. FPs can always spot someone's FI. And sometimes if it's a TI user, we'll be confused that they're not aware of it. Just as how maybe they're confused by us not having TI, but they can see that we have TI. I've been so surprised often that my TI user friends will be like, you're way more judgmental than you realize. And I'm like, excuse me, judgmental, me, irritable? Those are not things I think I am. Narrator, they actually were things she was. It's like what I think the NETTI oversoul would say to that. And so basically, my FI will say to Meghan, or say to Meghan, she's like, I'm fine, because I'll hear it as everything's fine. I'll be like, oh, I don't think you're fine. I think you're lying or something. And then if my TI perhaps subconsciously is judging the F user for not knowing, maybe they'll get a little emotional at my subconscious judgment of them for being dumb.
Actually, I want to explain this more. Even though I kind of don't want to be in video, whatever, I'm still in it. It's fine. I don't really care necessarily about how I look. It's just more like I'm tired, and so I hope that this comes out correctly. Mm-hmm. But
and yes, Denzel, I will. But go on.
Yeah. FE users, if they say they're fine, then other FE users will respect that as they don't want to talk about it right now, and so I'm just gonna let them process. And the FE user response would be, okay, well, I'm here if you need anything. Mm-hmm. And if the FE user was like, I'm fine, but they kind of did want to talk about it, and they would see that as a cue of oh, okay, well, I'm glad they're here. And so maybe in a few minutes, if I feel like talking about it, then I will.
Yeah. I think I can be a little pushy sometimes. I'm you're not fine. As if I want them to validate that. Because I think they think, if I validate,
you have a point. You are right, though. Sometimes that does need to happen. But what I also was realizing is that I think an FE user might think it's kind of rude if they say they're fine, and then someone's like, "No, tell me."
And you don't respect their TI, which is kind of stubbornly I'm fine. Fuck off a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes. Now, because of her influence, I have tried to be more honest about this stuff and not just be it's fine.
I'm when was the last time you actually lied to me? I'm I don't actually know anymore.
I don't even think it's a lie, but I do think that when an FI user picks up something like that and is you're not fine, then maybe they have a point, and maybe I should think about that more. But I do think that it's gosh, what am I saying? This is why I'm tired, so I'm not going to be more long-winded. Gosh. Essentially, what was I saying?
You were talking about, to say you're lying is not correct when an FE.
No, I mean, it's definitely not correct, but it's
bless me.
Oh, it's, I don't know.
Hey,
I'm sorry, this is bad. video.
And no, it's not. NTPs who are like, Meghan must have tea because she's explaining herself. Nope. Sometimes you lose your train of thought.
I lose my train of thought all the time. But essentially, the point is that if you say you're fine, it kind of means like, I'll handle it.
Mm-hmm.
FE users wouldn't say that. Oh, I know what I was going to say, is that some problems nobody else can solve but me.
Yes.
And sometimes
Ooh,
I need to vent, but sometimes it stresses me out to vent. And I know that if I vent about it more, then it would just stress me out.
And like make you more emotional?
Yes. And sometimes I know, like, for example, right now, like, I'm kind of looking for some career, like I'm like thinking through like what I'm doing with my career, but I don't sometimes feel like talking about it because you can't tell me what I'm meant to do.
Yeah, like,
and I think a lot of FJs might feel that way, especially since FJs don't really like to be told what to do. Is that like we would talk about it if we were looking for some sort of practical advice or other experiences,
or believed other people had advice to offer.
Yeah, or believe that. I mean, it's not really about someone's ability to give advice or not, but it's more like nobody can tell me what to do but me at this point.
Yeah.
And I think, I know what it is that FJs, they gather with like FE, like other people's opinions or whatever. But once you feel like you've sort of heard the other opinions, at the end of the day, it's like you use your TI to decide. And it's like, if you don't think that someone's going to say anything new that you haven't heard, then an FJ might just say, I'm fine, because they know that if they talked about it, they would just be circling the same FE opinions over and over.
Ooh, oh my God. I have so much to say about this. First of all, the idea of deciding for yourself.
And, okay, I want to say too, Denzel said usually when I say I'm fine, I'm trying to avoid bothering anyone else with my vibe. Like, that's also very true. That's another reason that an FJ can have, because sometimes, like, for that reason, it's like, if I feel like they can't handle it, or if I feel like their advice
can't handle the truth.
For example, like, I want to work for myself and be an entrepreneur. And if I were to talk about that with someone that would tell me something like, I don't know, you're young, you need to get a 9-to-5 job. And that would just like I would be like, okay, well, we don't have the same philosophy, so your advice isn't going to apply to me.
Ooh, yes. Are you done?
Okay, yeah, I'm done.
No, I wasn't like, are you done?
No,
I was more like,
sorry.
Didn't want to cut you off because I do that a lot. What I will say is, as someone without TI, the idea of deciding for myself what to believe is the scariest idea ever. And I think a lot of people who mistype between FPs and FJs, it's almost like FJs are still TI users and they take ownership of their ability to think for themselves. And I'm not saying NFPs don't feel for ourselves. We do something for ourselves. We're pretty independent people at the end of the day. But I will say, when it comes to new thoughts, like, it will sometimes overwhelm me, all the facts and everything. And sometimes I'll almost kind of lazily think someone's opinion of what's best for me supersedes my own. Because what the fuck's my own? What is best for me? It changes from moment to moment. And so the idea of like a streamlined way of like thinking is so interesting to me. But what I will say is, I also will not share certain things if I don't think anyone can help. I just inherently, as an FI user, believe that sharing FI is going to make me feel better just by putting it out there as so it's real. So it's in like the TE of the collective facts. The fact of the matter right now is Crystal is sad. Pretending I'm not sad would just be not putting it in the collective, therefore further invalidating the problem I'm already probably having.
I'm curious, Kai's Inji?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? I want to know what your type is, because
I think she's an NFP, because she said earlier, like,
okay.
She said earlier that she sees, yes, we see others FI, so I'm assuming the we means us FI users.
Yeah, INFP. Okay. I was just wondering if maybe that's a feeler first thing, if you're an INFP, because I resonate with that. Like, I don't want to cry. You don't expect
to always say how they really feel. Yeah.
And I was talking about this in the last live stream, actually. Oh, K's.
Kai's. Whatever.
I'm sorry.
K-A-I-Z.
Maybe we misgendered you too. You said she.
I don't know if it's a she or he. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Poor day. I don't know.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. If you don't, oh yes. Okay, wait. INFP's better FE than me.
Well, I was just gonna say I don't want to pry, and I think that was my quote issue with my INTJ friend is that I didn't want to pry about his life, but you pried.
I pried.
You were like, "Oh, do you really love your boyfriend? Tell me all about it." And I was like, "I'm not gonna do that."
Okay. I also have noticed ETJs will do this sometimes. Like they'll like kind of taunt you with lower FE, and because my FE is lower, I will call you out with stronger TE than an INFP who has lower TE. But I will say that I've been trying to be more tactful in that. I don't know if you've noticed. But it's like if you don't want to share, it's okay. That actually, like I've been trying to be like, hey, well, I don't think you're fine, but I will like respect that if you want space, I'll give it to you. Like I'll kind of like over explain a little bit and like try and like back off and like not be passive aggressive or too blunt about it.
I want to make a joke really quick. John Fury asks, is everyone here an INFP? I literally want to screenshot that and make that like my YouTube banner photo. Because honestly, from now on, that's the question. That's all I should say in all my videos.
Oh my God.
That's the question that I always want to know.
No, because so many INFPs tune in. Like,
because they're amazing.
Yeah, seriously, you guys know so much more about people than you realize.
INFPs are always willing to get down into knowing who they are.
Oh my God, you know how? Okay, I'm an NFP, but I benefit so much from INFPs because I will skip over that freaking FI a lot, and then they'll be like, "It seems you feel this is this." I'm like, "I do feel this," and they're like, "You know," I'm like, "I forgot. I was just going somewhere." It's like I was driving without knowing the destination, and FI is always the destination, and INFPs do that for me. I love you, INFPs, because you're kind of like me, but not.
What Denzel just said is like literally exactly.
Okay. I need to backtrack and answer some of these questions, which was my original intent, but.
And I need to freaking value my SI that I'm tired and I don't want to talk. I just, whatever. That's why the title is Crystal Take
Okay,
Over.
I was like really grateful she like came over because as I was talking with no one listening, I was really feeling awkward. And I feel like some of you watching might have noticed that I'm like visibly happier and less nervous now. Maybe if you have like FE or SE. I don't know. Let's go back in time, guys. Crystal, can you explain your relationship with NE in your own words? Wait, okay.
NE doing the other voice.
NE, yeah, I don't think that's actually how he actually talks at all, but
no, but
I'm gonna imitate everyone in that voice. Bad SE. Well, let's see. So when I walk down the street, I'm like, I don't really think anything, but then it's like, okay. Okay, there will be like a grassy field. Okay, let's say
there's nothing in there, is what she's saying.
No. Oh, if you're on Twitter and you see some of the memes that TI users make about ENFPs, we do seem kind of dumb. But okay,
there is something in there. It's just you haven't TI.
Okay. Let me try to use this really extended metaphor. It's not like okay. Think about when you walk outside, sun's shining, you know, the birds chirping, whatever, blah blah blah. Look at a grassy field, and you're like, oh, look, it's grass. But what is underneath the grass is buggies. Lots of buggies, lots of ants, beetles, maybe some ladybugs, caterpillars, butterflies on a good day. It's like, but you have to like, literally like fucking face plant, look into the grass to see the life thriving underneath. And this is how it feels to be in the brain of specifically me. Maybe I'm just really weird of an ENFP, but it's like almost I have to like, dig in and observe my thoughts. Like for me, like the NE is la la la, and then I think, what am I thinking? What if I trip? What if I went and got a soda at the store down the street? What if I decided to call my friend to hang out? What if? But unless I'm consciously tuning in, I won't even know that I'm thinking that. I'll just be like, kind of like reacting to, oh shit, that car is coming really close. It's going to hit me. And it's like, I don't have any conscious commentary. And I've kind of mentioned this to Megan before. Like, I don't have like,
I think I talk to you and react as though you have a thought and you kind of don't know the thought unless and then you'll realize you have a thought because I will regard you as a person with a thought. Like, I'll be like, oh, I know you're thinking blah.
And I'll be like,
"Oh,
what? I
I
am thinking that. No, John Fury. Okay, let's see. My FI is hurt that you said, can you hear the waves of the ocean in her head? Because part of me was like, hey, is he thinking I'm dumb? But then my TE was like, but he's not wrong, because in a way that it is just white noise.
And my SE is like, you literally said that, and so how dare you fault him for saying?
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like
like
repeating it back to me, because I kind of forgot what I just said, to be perfectly honest, which I think is a sign of bad TI. Also, if any ENFPs are watching this and this isn't your experience, I'm not trying to speak for all ENFPs. If maybe some of you are smarter than me, please, by all means, comment below and explain your experience. I'm just telling you that I walk down the street, I don't really hear something unless I tune in and
what you really
suddenly
mean to say is like an inner monologue.
Yeah, I don't have an inner monologue. I have to like really like look for it. Like I can't react to it. I almost feel like betas, NFJs, STPs react to their thoughts at all times. They'll be like, oh my god, like commenting on the way this parking instructor is. I don't even fucking know. Like you guys just seem to experience visceral like thoughts consciously more. And I'm like, what am I thinking?
I want to say two things actually. So Denzel is an ENFJ. For those of you guys watching this that are not looking at the live chat, just said I just asked that question because I work with Heidi and
Heidi
she explains differently. I'm trying to find common ground. I want to use this as an example. Denzel, correct me if I'm wrong. To me, this is how FE learns. It's because one person's one way. It's like you note that, but then you have to keep almost asking everyone.
Yeah,
in order to come to like a TI conclusion.
You're taking opinions or you're taking perspectives and experiences with a grain of salt, and I don't think I'm really naturally good at that without TI.
Like TI users seem to, I'm a TI user. I'm saying like TPs seem to like come to conclusions really quickly, but like FJs, especially EFJs, will like glean something, but then like need to check like all people.
Oh yeah, Denzel. What I've said before is ENFJs. They're not always right, but when they're right, they're right. They're not. Yeah. You don't ever say an opinion that's not very backed up in like observing the collective.
Yeah, and sometimes it bugs me too when I like share thoughts on this channel where people are like, "How do you know that?" And it's like I talk to a lot of people, and I have like a large sample size, or else I wouldn't have said this.
And also without TE, it's kind of like TI without TE is I only know what I know. If you know what you know, then you know what you know, and I know what I know. Yes. I'm just saying what I know.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, but I think that people take that the wrong way.
And I feel like that was maybe a little too SE, because there's so many ways you could try to qualify why the fuck I used so many I knows, but I feel like using NI about like the fact that you guys do this. Like, yeah. I don't know.
And another thing I wanted to share that I realized today, which if you guys didn't realize, like, I mean, I haven't seen Crystal in like a year, and we only philosophize about stuff when we're together, and so my brain's just been on fire today. I realized when we were doing this thing that she what am I saying? When we were doing a live earlier, she was able to talk while reading the comments at the same time.
I'm still reading them. I'm still reading them.
I was not able to do that, and then I was realizing how NE can sort of multitask by having different ideas going on at the same time.
NE is like the computer, like Google Chrome with multiple tabs open. Like,
and I need one idea at the same time, but at the same time, we were walking down the street, and I was like literally looking at thrift clothes and just like a lot of clothes and just a lot of SE stuff, but also listening to her. But I could tell that she felt like I wasn't really listening. And then I realized, like, wait a minute. So if her NE could have multiple ideas going on at once, then I can have multiple sensory experiences going on at once. I'm listening to her and I'm looking at
because to be honest, when I was explaining my feelings, I was not looking at the damn clothes, man. I was like, what clothes? Oh, wait, I almost walked into a stop sign just now. Oh, shit. Like, when I'm really engrossed up here, I will say, Denzel, that I think of not just how I experience NE, but almost like how I experience the absence of SE. Like, I think that I literally will be so engrossed perhaps in replaying. Like, it's like a constant montage. Like, if I'm just walking on the street, I'm either like musing to myself if I tune in what I could be thinking, or it's like a montage of past experiences I've had, or a montage of all the emotions that I felt before walking down the street. So all times there's like a movie playing of sorts. Sometimes it's a silent film. Sometimes it has like a lot of, it's audio only. But I would say that my inner world is pretty colorful. And so it's easier to not pay attention to the outside world, AKA I might bump into things if I don't make the conscious choice to pay attention to my surroundings. I will not pay attention to my surroundings. I have to be like, okay, Crystal, today we're going to be mindful and we're going to get shit done faster. So
I literally have to pay attention to my surroundings or else I'll bump into stuff.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
See, I'm kind of like, la, la, la. As I'm almost about to bump into it, my SI will suddenly kick back in like, hey, isn't this distance you walked about the proximity to the stop sign you saw like 2 minutes ago? Oh, fuck. Like it's almost like, hello.
Superpower. I wish I don't.
Like it's like kind of like little static waves of SI. Oh, shit. SE is more like, woo, here's the whole picture or something. And we're crashing now. But see, I'll like kind of like check in like SI. How long ago did I cross the street? Am I almost there? It's like almost like a switch between NE and SI.
Am I almost there?
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, where have I driven to? How long ago did I missed my exit.
In your head, you could ask, am I almost there? As opposed to just looking to see.
Yeah, I know. It will literally be another thought in addition to the thinking about this boy, thinking about my career, thinking about the fact that maybe I should have exited a second ago. Oh, fuck. All right, we can do a UE here. I don't know. But that's kind of how NE is. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to try to scroll back to some other people.
I think I'm going to shut up and let you finish whatever points you want to say. I'm going to try and shut up. I might have another point.
No, I feel like you're not going to. Yeah, sorry. I'm really having fun. And anyways, okay, let's see. ENFPs do love an audience, Greg. Yes. Cyllin Hack, I agree about being NFPs. ENTP just stumbled upon this. How can I get an INFP girl to like me?
That is the age-old question.
Oh, God. Well, I've
been trying to get INFPs to like me for years. And now apparently they do.
Apparently FI is a hot commodity here. I would say despite having an FI blind spot, because I have an INTP really good friend, I would say use the fuck out of your FE, do things for her, listen to her, try to just ask questions. You don't have to have FI to use FE to appeal to an INFP. Just literally like tap into like being attentive or really showing that you care about her emotions. And even if it's not like 100% you understand literally the FI she has, she'll see the FE of you want to be around her and your presence is something that she can like rely on. Because even though I personally tend to like FI users, specifically people without FE, the shortcomings is they're never fucking around. Like they're never literally there. So I think FE is beneficial because really you kickstart a lot of relationships. So don't be insecure about not having FI, Aiden. Just literally use your FE and keep talking to her. And she'll be like, wow, someone who actually wants to talk to me. I'm an INFP. Who the fuck normally notices me? This random ENTP did. Cool. Or, I mean, she won't maybe know what your type is. I don't know if she's an
And
type,
I just want to say, too, that I know an INFP that dated an ENTP. And so it's possible.
Yeah, like, honestly, I fucking love INTPs because their TI really refines my TE. And as long as I'm the one pursuing them to use TE, they find me pretty amusing, too, it seems. So I could imagine a parallel as an ENTP with an INFP. Now, Mentat99, can you please tell me who do you think is better at reading other people's emotions, INFP or INTP? Now, okay, here's the thing. It depends on what you define as other people's emotions because the presence of FI versus FE is going to make you read things differently. So an INTP is going to really be able to read the emotional cues in the moment of, wow, that person's uncomfortable. My FE is picking up that they're annoyed with me or they don't want to be around me for some reason. An INFP will be like, who is the sum of this person? What is the emotional experience they seem to have had? They'll like deduce who they are. And an INTP will really be able to be sensitive to the changes in the emotional environment. And I think sometimes without FE,
that was so well said.
An NFP will skip over that. But NTP might skip over like the deep emotional trauma and wounds that people have with them. So it really depends on what your definition of reading other people's emotions even is. I'm not a fan of the school of thought, which, by the way, I don't think me or Megan is a part of. I'm not a fan of the school of thought that people who are thinkers first, aka ETJs or ITPs, can't handle reading other people's emotions. I think that they read them in a different way. And it's almost like without one of the feeling functions clouding them, they're particularly, like they're inferior FE or their inferior FI is particularly pure. So INTPs will have a lot of good intentions on trying to maintain group harmony, and they'll really value it. I think if they're patient with themselves and other people, they'll find that they can, really get it together. And I think IFPs are really patient with people's blocks and giving people the emotional benefit of the doubt that there's a good explanation for things they're doing. Anyways, let's look here. Are ENFPs manipulative? Yes.
Yeah. I think that ENFJs are more manipulative, but ENFPs can orchestrate different situations.
We're sneaky. I'm not sure if we actually can manipulate someone, because I would think that would take having a degree of TI. But I will say that, I think I drag out of people and accidentally trick them sometimes into sharing more than they thought they would, because I'm so enthusiastic that they accidentally catch it. And I will also say that I have in my life orchestrated situations using TE to put things together for my benefit. Slightly suggesting that someone should come help me with something because I actually needed them for something. I feel like using TE, you'll be not afraid to be kind of forceful, maybe hide the full TI of what you're trying to accomplish. And I think with Dom and E, we're really able to perceive what they could be thinking and respond to that. So I guess maybe all ENPs can kind of manipulate the way reality is, because they'll just kind of prematurely guess how someone's going to respond and then account for that. But I wouldn't say that I would say ENFPs are also able to really tap into people's deepest emotions, positive and negative. And depending on if their intentions are good or how aware they are that they even did that, they can maybe make them feel certain good or bad feelings more than that person's initially aware of. So it really depends on how aware the victim is or how in control of their FI the victim is. Because I will say that NFPs manipulating fellow NFPs is really hard. But anyone who doesn't have that NE and FI combo might feel manipulated by us just being ourselves and throwing you off guard with FI, and if we can even handle your FI. Yeah. NFJs do hate prying, but I fucking love it, because my goal in this life is to make people more emotionally honest with themselves, and I'm still working on it with TI and FE. So
I just realized I think NFJs hate prying because we've always been told that we're prying. Because I think we accidentally pry, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think that prying effectively and to not have people salty at you is to use TE to validate that it's a reasonable fact what they're feeling. Because I think that when I pry, I also validate that it's okay for the person to feel the way they do once they finally admit it. It's like they throw the ball in the air and I catch it for them. It's okay. So yeah, that's how I guess I get away with it. LOL. Anyways, let's see. What did people say while I was on my rant? Oh, this lady has some crystal clear thoughts on her, lots of her inner feelings.
Literally.
What a great fun. Yeah. Oh, she has 30 signs. Give them all away whenever she talks. Wait. Sorry, I'm really behind on these comments because I wasn't noticing that it wasn't scrolling anymore, but I finished some of the backlogs. Let's look. I'm almost done, I swear.
I just want to read them.
Real life examples of inferior SE, anime, Gkimo. I don't know if you're talking about a fourth function SE or just bad SE in general, because I and J's have inferior SE, but if you're asking about how NPs don't have SE, I'd really like you to clarify that before I get into that, but I'm more than happy to. INTPs kick my ass as an ENFJ. Oh my god, it's because their TI is so interesting to your FE and your FE is so interesting to their
Greg,
TI.
do you agree that ENFJs and INTPs just have a really interesting relationship compared to all the other type pairings? Because I've always been jealous of the INTJ and ENFP connection because they're both intuitive. Mm-hmm. And they both share the same judging functions, but at the same time, both of their judging functions are in the middle.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but there isn't really another type like that is also intuitive for the intuitives with a judger first.
Yeah.
And so our feeling and thinking is so extreme that it's not the same.
That's so
and I mean the same
true.
as ENTPs and INFJs. I've been jealous of that type relations too. But I think that just by nature of being a judger first, like ENFJs and INTP, it's going to be intense
Mhm.
and like not very compatible, probably.
Yeah.
But there still is like
yeah.
something.
Mhm. Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm going to use TE to force you to value your SI. But then it's hard because I'm so tempted.
I'm just too curious with the cons.
Yeah, I'm too tempted by the NE prospect of you adding a hot take to the situation. Let's see. Try having 1,000 thoughts rolling around. Don't envy that. I don't envy that. With my emotions, all my emotions are always like, oh. And I'm just like, to actually have those be like thoughts, oh my God. Like the judgments would be like, ah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I am energetic, haha. Yeah, I think FE just seems flirty naturally because it's so eager to connect with people, Michelle, but I don't think ENFJs are actually flirting. Like, I mean, I think that it's easy for people to wish they were flirting and kind of project onto that they must be flirting, but I think it's just EFJs are just charming and kind of get over it. I don't know.
If you want, you can share a bit about how that one INFP guy I was flirting. Like, don't tell the story, but just like your hot take on why that happened.
Oh, I mean, okay, I think that like FI just thinks when it sees a strong FE, they're imagining, oh, I were to do that, I'd be super into someone. But that's not actually the case a lot of the time. And I think that we're assuming that person also has the TE to know what they're doing and be okay with being that flirty, when ENFJs are just being eager and seeing who kind of bites, and they're not actually paying you exclusive attention. So I know that there's been some INFPs in Meghan's life who've kind of gotten her wrong and thought that she was like, oh, so obsessed with them, and been very disappointed. Not that they would admit it, but they were in fact disappointed when they realized that she was not actually giving them exclusive attention. So my thing for you NFPs, as someone who's also been tricked by the FE charm before, is to be a little more skeptical of it. Yes, it is. You guys just give us so much attention, and then you'll kind of make a TI judgment of if we're a good person or just leave. Sucks. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, Aiden, if you feel like you have a tough time connecting to the INFP on an emotional level, I think showing through actions and repetition of pursuing her will clarify to you whether or not she's willing to give you a shot. I think over time, just using the FE is not going to hurt you. You're either going to find out to TI if it can't work or not, and maybe crack her a little bit too, or, figure it out and, move on. Like, I think either way, the solution is digging into your FE willingness to try and talk to her, because even just because you have a tough time connecting on an emotional level, it's not always a deal breaker if you want to start a relationship, because it depends on what your priorities both are. If you both want to just kind of have fun and grow the emotional connection, that's possible too. Anyways, let's see.
Guys, this INFP liked my profile pic, and I could just feel the intention behind it. I can feel the intention behind it, and it drives me crazy.
It's because you know the NE and FI now, secret. I guess ENFPs can't tap into people's motivations and motivate them, because I was called a positive, supportive force by an ESTJ. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's see. Even before I learned about MBTI, I realized I got along most with ISFP. Denzel, yeah, that's really true. Yeah, that's pretty true about that. What did he say? And Denzel was just commenting on how he gets along with ISFPs with kind of the FI dual, but also that NI and SE kind of going back and forth. I really relate to that because that's me and INTJs all the time. Let's see. I found that the best matches for ENFJs and compatibility is not INTP, but ISFP.
Oh, yeah, and I think that is the same, I guess, type relation as what you would say with an INTJ and ENFP, where it's the same.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think it really depends, because whenever people ask for relationship advice, I never like saying a one-size-fits-all, because I wouldn't say, everyone should have someone who judges the same, or everyone should have someone who blah, blah, blah. Because I've met so many successful couples and big couples that have different pairings. And I think it comes down to what you prioritize. Which of your 4 functions, intuition, sensing, feeling, or thinking, do you care about the most? And do you care about it being different or it being the same? So it really comes down to assessing what your values are and what makes you feel the most validated in your life. And I think that people assessing their relationship priorities are how they figure out who they should date. So I don't have any hot takes that objectively INFPs should be with ENTJs or like I personally refrain from that because what's worked for me as someone who really values TE, I really like TJs. That's not every NFP at all. And not every TJ likes how flaky FI can seem at times. So let's go back here. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Sorry. There's so much here. ENFPs can have people's motivations. True. Perceive your body language too. Yeah, like I guess I don't know, Michelle R, if you're talking about INTPs perceiving body language, but I think body language is definitely a very FE thing to pick up on, like very sensitively. So yeah, if you're a judger first, an ITP or an EFJ, you're gonna be very sensitive to body language and expressions and such. It's funny that you say, Denzel, that you hate crying. You only cry if you're empathizing with someone, but not your own feelings. I cry like literally every day just to cleanse myself of my emotions, and I love it. I always know exactly why I'm crying when I do that. And yeah, Edgy Wedgie, what's your take on life? What's the purpose? I think the purpose of life is to grow and to understand why you are the way you are and the tendencies you have. More importantly, and to make that help you better your relationships with all kinds of people, not just your significant other, your friendships, all sorts of areas of your life. Let's see. Everyone who cries from movies, I don't know, because it really depends. It depends on how in tune with your own FI you are, I think. So I don't really want to say one specific type cries more from movies. I would say like maybe an SI user is nostalgic about Disney movies. So they'll cry, and also like little kids cry from movies all the time, regardless of type. So I don't really know what you mean by that. Please clarify. Sorry, I'm going with TE like down the list as if it's a checklist, and I apologize. This isn't as personable as maybe an FE user would make it.
Please clarify.
Yeah, please. For the sake,
like TI users will like try and make sense of it yourself, and you're just like, please clarify.
Well, I mean, it's like I tried. I literally gave all the TE I had about that, and I want you to like give me some more to work with. I'm not saying that you didn't share enough. I just personally didn't understand it enough, and I kind of think it's on you to like maybe give me some more. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that was rude. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Anyways, Greg, I've only worked relationships with INTPs, friends or potential relationships explode in glorious manner. I think the key for EFJs and ITPs to get along is to develop that fourth function. Like literally, like just be a little more almost judgmental with the TP, and they'll respect you. They're like a Shiba Inu dog is how I think TPs are. Also, I'm not literally like saying TPs are animals because I think like some FI users are cats. But anyways, the point is TPs need to respect you. You need to like show them your intellectual side, or else you won't really have the ability to access their FE. Similarly, I think TPs need to understand that to access an FJ's TI, you need to use FE and be nice to them.
I just want to say something is that I literally never would have thought to clarify. I'm not saying TPs are dogs because, of course, she wasn't saying that. But this is an example of the sort of things that NE thinks to clarify that I never would think to clarify. I just talk, and then all of a sudden, when I least expect it, I get a comment from a TP that's like, you think I'm a dog. You're the worst.
No, because my SI is so aware that people don't like being compared to animals. Because I think people because people are afraid to acknowledge that we all are animals at the end of the day.
But NI users know we're all animals.
Yeah, we're all mammals. We all drank our mother's milk. Hopefully. Anyways, yeah, whatever. No. I really am flirting. People perceive me to be off. And it's because they wish you were flirting because you are doing what they perceive in their mind would be flirting if someone were to flirt with them. Normally, I think if you think an FE is okay, but I will say that like FE normally really gets how to make people smile and happy. So maybe by that logic, you're not flirting ever because you're just always focused on making people happy. Not to say you're a pushover, but it's like you are naturally in tune with that. So you might as well put that strength to use. So I think that's why people pick it up as flirting. Because the act of flirting itself is making someone happy. But I think some people would assume that the TI intent there is you want to get in their pants or blah, blah, blah. But you're sometimes just doing that to be nice. FE charm is the best. Yeah, true. As someone who has had a lot of experiences with FE users, yes. Flirting is a great way to convey the undercurrent. Yeah, that's true too. I think my dog's ESTP. I think this person's mocking me. Having a mental affair with someone can be very fulfilling. My turtles and ITP. Wait, I think these people are making fun of me saying that TPs are animals.
So I type my animals.
Wait, I don't know. Are they trying to bond with me, or are they trying to make fun of me saying TPs aren't animals because they're saying my animals are TPs? I'm sorry. I'm making myself amused and getting in my head right now. Nothing should be followed religiously. Haha, hot take. LOL, so many FI users have said the exact same thing about crack. Yeah, true. How do you think INFPs and INTJs would get along in a relationship?
Let's not answer all of those sort of things because Crystal and I, we want to do more. We want to do like some actual webinars, and something I'm wanting to do, you guys, is like actually plan some like talks about INFP relationships, INTP relationships, ENFJ, ENFP.
Yeah.
And like actually plan some things beforehand and then like actually talk about it. Because like these sort of like one-off things, like you realize that what you're asking is such a complex issue. It's not such a complex
problem. My NE was like, here's a little bit. Now take it and go.
Yeah, like friend. It's not something that you can't build Rome overnight. Is it the phrase?
Rome wasn't built in a day.
What can you not build overnight?
I think it was day. I don't know about
Rome wasn't built in a day. But there's another cliche about something you can't do this overnight. I've noticed a lot of NFJs, they conflate different idioms together to make a new idiom a lot by accident because I think our SI sucks. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Any of you guys have done that.
Well, yeah, we will definitely be able to get into some of these relationship questions in future seminars because I have a lot of webinars.
I like calling it a seminar.
I have so many hot takes, right, Megan? To feel anything, Crystal, to you, if your judgment or intuition is wrong, the rest will also be wrong. Well, I think that if you're willing to be wrong as a rule of thumb for humanity, you'll always be able to correct yourself. It's not like a humility thing. Like, I could be wrong about how I feel about what's right to do, and if someone, an FE user maybe, tells me that I'm being rude when I don't think I'm being rude, if I consider what they're doing, I could just be a better person. Same with anyone with TI or NI or S. Just be willing to be wrong. Yeah, I agree with you about that, Denzel, that to win over TPs, to always be in a mode to learn from them and take their correction, even when insensitive. Yeah, because I think that's why I get along with some TPs, because my TE is always like, you're so interesting. Please tell me more. And I think TPs really respond to that more than you think. And also, that's not me being manipulative, because I legitimately do want to learn more, because I don't have a TI opinion about, like, a lot of things, which maybe it seems like I have thoughts and such, but I think I only really have strong opinions about Myers-Briggs and like some other like social justice issues. But I would say, like, if you were to present me with new incriminating information about if aliens exist or something, I don't know, like any new TI information that I haven't previously thought about before, I would be helpless. So I will always be trying to learn from people. La la la. Okay, well, I think I'm done for now. And I'm going to go watch Nathan For You, a great show about a really funny INTJ who I think is kind of attractive, but I'm not really sure.
I knew you thought he was.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just think his pranks make him hilarious, and I would love to be around him, LOL.
I just thought that guy looked like your type.
He doesn't physically look like my type, but his personality is hilarious. And I like the idea that he uses TE to joke about things with people. But anyways.
I want you guys to realize, too, that listening to Crystal talk, she is always saying what she doesn't mean as well as what she means, which is why she's an ENFP, why I'm not.
Yeah, because Megan's even think about what she does or doesn't mean. And it's like kind of like all other people to confront her. You kind of have to give, I think, just all NPs in general, if you know you're one or if you suspect you're one, you have to give.
Me right now, I pointed out what you did. I didn't point out what you didn't do.
You have to give people the benefit of the doubt that sometimes they don't know what they're doing and don't get too accusatory with them about it, which is something I'm even learning because I kind of expect people to read my mind a lot, which Megan can attest to.
That's like literally the worst thing in the world.
I'll be like offended that they didn't read my mind, and it's ironic because I'm thinking back to this live stream and I literally admitted that I don't really think much of anything. So like, how could they know what I'm thinking?
Guys, comment below if you want more Crystal. Because here's the thing, it's been so fun for me to watch her go from awkward at the beginning of this video to happy. And I think that it would be useful for you. Like, I was trying to explain to her today, it's like, she was like, why do I feel better after I did that video? And I'm like,
after I
because
admitted.
you shared how you felt. And that's how FE works. Like, it's hard to keep all of your feelings inside. When you use FE, it's almost like letting out gas, you know?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You know, like, it's like a really weird
Yeah,
metaphor.
yeah.
But I was just like telling you about, yeah, she's so much fun.
Oh,
Everyone loves
you guys.
And, you know, it's funny because it's like, I don't know. It's been fun for me to watch you become more comfortable with this, because I know it can be really hard for an ENFP to share your opinions.
Yeah, it is.
Without wondering if you're dumb or like what people think and stuff like that.
I hate making my own videos about Myers-Briggs or like writing without like, because it's not like I can take it as an article and give it to an editor and be like, hey, like, will you check if this is accurate? Like, it's just so intimidating for me. So yes, you're really right.
Greg is so right.
That's
how FE works. Okay, that's how it works.
One last thing though, ENFPs say things they don't mean is what Nebulistic asked. I'm assuming you're not an ENFP. I'd say we often say things we don't mean to almost tease. To TE, we're hypothesizing what could be true.
I think it might be an ENF thing that both of us are more comfortable sharing our opinions when we know we have an audience. Because if you look at my first videos, they were awkward as hell. And then like the more I've gotten more people watching, I like think that I am better at it because I feel like I'm connecting with someone. I'm not just like putting out I don't know.
And I feel like that too. Like, I'm like, sorry, Megan, I'm going to ask you to exploit your channel for my own benefit. Like, I was just like, I was so nervous asking because I felt like so dumb. But ENFPs, ENFPs say things you don't mean. I would say yes. Very often we say things we don't mean if they're logical. If they're about our emotions, we normally mean them as much as we possibly could. There might be more we're not saying, but we very rarely can lie explicitly about how we're feeling. So, yeah, I don't know how to qualify that. I feel like ENFPs say things they don't mean if they aren't about, I feel this is this. If they're saying, I feel this is this, I guarantee you they actually feel that, and you better be fucking listening, because for them to share how they feel with you they expect you to actually give a shit. And if you don't give a shit, then they're literally going to pick it up right away and stop giving a shit about you immediately. No, like, questions asked.
Savage.
No, but seriously, like, ENFJs will kind of be like, but do you care? And ENFPs will be like, I saw you not pay attention to me just now. You just lost your FI hearing privileges for the night, bitch, unless you want to apologize. And I'm not even going to tell you did anything
I want to
wrong.
bring up another can of worms, even though we got to go. Because that's just how I roll. She literally was mad at a friend for not wanting to. Okay, she was mad at a friend for being too tired to go out, and she was like, I feel like this friend is abusing, or I feel like this friend is taking advantage of me, so I'm just gonna stay mad until she realizes why I'm mad.
I literally will 100% admit to being petty as fuck.
And I was so mad, and I was like, because I've had people do this to me, and I was like, she probably doesn't know what she did. You got to use your words.
I know. I feel like NFPs are always like, I don't want to over-explain how I feel. And FE's like, but you couldn't possibly over-explain how you feel ever, because FE is an infinite pool of emotions to always be able to expand, just like NE is like possibility. But yeah, like seriously, like I just think you should know better with FI that we're being an asshole to me just now.
Well, I think, FPs, especially ENFPs, they really just want the other person to figure out why they hurt you.
Yeah, because it's almost like if you take the time and energy to actually figure out how I feel, man, you care enough to deserve the dignifiedness of me dignifying you with my emotion. To me, explaining
I guess that makes more sense, but my instinct is to be very mad whenever people expect me to know why they're feeling something, and I definitely put the burden on them to explain. And if they don't explain, then I don't care.
Yeah, it's
because I think it's rude to make me have to dig. But then she was actually telling me today about how FI like wants you to dig.
Yes. We don't want to say it because we don't know if it's okay for someone to say. We don't actually know if anyone gives a shit. Like we're like, oh hey, I'm feeling kind of bad. We're expecting someone to be like reading this paper. Honey. And like be like, oh okay, I guess you don't want to hear it. Like that's our worst nightmare. So I will say that like I get really protective of my FI, and maybe all ENFPs kind of feel this way, but often we seem really like happy people because we're trying to get you to go the fuck away if you're not actually gonna really care about us. I feel like ENFPs
you're refining who you want in your life.
Yeah, we're like putting on the poker face to see who cares enough to maybe realize there's more emotions going on beneath the surface. We don't want to explicitly say what they are in case we get rejected and shut down by people. So we'll put on this like NETE like mask of, oh, like everything's fine and bubbly. Oh, I don't feel fine right now.
It seems like FI is trying to find their people and FE is trying to get along with everyone in the world because we all live on it. And so let's all be nice to each other. But FI is like trying to find their people.
Yeah, like who are my people who are going to give shit about my FI? And
I'm very concerned with not wanting to burn bridges and not wanting to have a stupid fight with a friend that didn't even mean to hurt you whenever we could all just get along.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I guess I just think that we don't have equal capacity to all get along. I don't have to hate everyone, but there are people that get access to my most intimate thoughts and secrets. And those are people that have proven. And I think it's unfair sometimes because I kind of play favorites with the people that can dig, which tends to be fellow FI users. But I will say that we shouldn't always be as choosy as we are, because I think sometimes there are people who are just waiting for us to give them a shot. And I think only personally for me as someone who uses a lot of TE, I've found really a lot of community in the intellectual like in like intellectual topics. Like I have a lot of TP friends who really come to me with hot takes, and then from there maybe I'll share a little bit of emotions and see if they get the bait, and they don't, I'll be like, oh, okay, but I'll still talk to you about only this stuff. You'll never know how I really feel about anything else in the world besides this specific topic that works for us. So I think keep parts of my life secretive and compartmentalized for people, and in general I think this has benefited
that feels
me.
Stifling for me. I don't want to compartmentalize. I want everyone to see all of me. And if they don't like it, then I think that they should leave. Because I'm me.
I think sometimes people overstay their welcome all the time. You got to kind of kick them out. I don't know. Maybe that's mean. I think
And this is why I think that I can seem so self-righteous in fights, because when people are trying to change me, I always want to be like, no, I'm me. If you don't like me, then you leave.
Oh, I leave. I leave before anyone can change me.
Oh. But I don't let them change me either. Instead, I just am annoying and yell at them.
Okay. Yes. My biggest dream is for Dave's superpowers to watch this specific video and be like, that crystal girl seems smart. Good job, ENFP.
He already has said that you seem smart.
I didn't even know he knew who I was.
He commented on the video with us.
Oh, he did?
See, it was the one we did about like 2 years ago about IJs versus EJs. And he was like, you guys get it.
Oh,
you know that. I told you that.
I forgot about that because I was so busy wishing that. Ooh, it's kind of like, okay,
because we've actually, to comment on the Dave thing, like I have talked to him a few times. I have already pretty much had not the same idea clearly because we communicated differently, but everything he's saying about like the double observers and like double judgers and stuff like that, all sort of things that we've thought about before and talked about before, and that's why I connected with Dave, because it seemed like we were coming
Dave
on a similar
is so smart.
theory.
I think Megan is really smart too, and Dave would totally agree. I think the main thing, one last thing about ENFPs, hot take for people, I will follow up with some of these questions later. I will, is because, not because. One thing about ENFPs to take away is, for me at least, I will sometimes wish for something and not have good enough SE to see if I actually got it. Like I didn't actually think about going to see if he's commented on anything I've been in with you, or to figure out.
I think that it might have just been so long ago that you didn't remember.
Yeah, but I will say that with a lot of desires, I'd be like, oh, I wish so and so would be my friend, without doing any of the work to actually try and befriend them, because my FL would be kind of scared. When really, it's kind of like I throw something out in the universe and I'm like, oh well, hope it landed. Doesn't check to see if it landed. And so I think that this comes down to TI users take the initiative to dig and actually figure out what they can do to get what they want, whatever they want with the FETI, and also what power they have. And I'm like, oh, I just wish that this would happen. And then if it's happening or not, if it's an opportunity, maybe I miss out on it because I was too busy wishing to do anything. So, oh, yeah, I guess I am adorable. Hee. I don't really know if I am or not. Dude, okay, girl blogger. As an INTP, I feel responsible for the emotional health of my ENFP sister. Like, I want her to rescue her from spiraling with reason. Sometimes ENFPs just want the questions FETI users naturally ask for them to solve their own problems with TE. You have to kind of remind them that there's a perspective outside of the one they have right now. Like, you have to almost have to be like, just smell the roses for a second, my friend. Like, you have to almost like give them like, what I think is helpful for an ENFP as an INTP is if you intellectualize their problem. You're like, you seem to be triggered by the philosophical idea that blah, 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 blah.
Whoa.
And then I guarantee you that might actually help them because there's a reason why NFPs like TE. I think as an INTP, you can tap into your TE and say something kind of general without saying what you think they should do, almost acts as the TE of what is something other people have done, but also something other people could do. Give them multiple options for what they could do, and it takes the pressure off you and gives them more options to choose from to solve their problem. Because that's how NTPs help me, because I have a bunch of NTP friends. La 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 la. All right. The compartmentalization to me is more like, yeah, I agree, Shika Cubes. All right. Oh, girl blogger was still listening. See, this is an example of me being like, oh, I'm saying this. Who knows if someone will actually hear? Oh, she heard it? Wow, that's weird. Oh, I was saying when you were in the bathroom that sometimes ENFPs kind of throw things out there and don't really know how to see if they landed or not. So the fact that I answered someone's question and they acknowledged that, like, they heard me is interesting to me. I know. I'm, like, getting way, like, out there with NENTE.
Mental 99, yes. I've read every single comment.
She does. I would know because I was probably there.
It's actually kind of unhealthy, I'm realizing, is that I don't need to read every comment. In the past month or two, I've been like, you know what? Unless I have something really, really interesting to say back to this comment, I might just like it or heart it. I used to really try to comment something extremely thoughtful to everyone, but then I realized I started to just be like, oh, thanks. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I don't think people want to hear just a, oh, thanks. Like, I'm just gonna read them all. And then, like, when I feel compelled to make a longer response.
Like, as an everyone's, I feel like
I get notifications to my phone every time, and I always am looking to see if people are saying something. Because to me, the only reason why I make videos is to talk to you guys about it. So it doesn't make sense. Why did you share?
I'm like, only some of these are worth my time. I'm just gonna read until I feel. Anyways.
Yeah, Denzel, I told you were the best because I didn't have much to say, but I wanted to validate you. And also, I felt guilty for not planning the fact that we need to collab. Comment below if you want me and Denzel to collab. Because honestly, the social pressure.
ENFJs collabing.
Honestly, the social pressure will make me remember to do it. I told you I wouldn't forget, and I haven't forgotten. I just haven't known when to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh.
In fact, these sort of things weigh down me all the time. Like plans that I've made, I still feel like it's more like just waiting for the timing to be right.
Yeah, you know? I feel like you and Dunzo are the same NI wavelength of it hasn't happened yet because it isn't yet time.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. But anyways, Juan, the one we have a synchronic Saturday video about SI that you can listen to. I haven't really made any videos about SJ specifically, but I'm totally down. Hey, no, I'm literally talking to you right now. Oh my gosh. Anyways.
I'm not Mexican. Also, that's like really rude to refer to someone as their race.
We're trying to get to all of them, and I'm sorry about ignoring your question.
And it seems really entitled.
Anyways.
Honestly.
Like we have made videos about SI if you want to do the effort of digging. I mean, sorry for not talking a lot about SJs. I do have some thoughts. I can make more
Don't
videos.
Even say it. Don't say it. We
I don't know.
go.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to say it right now, but there is content about SJs if you want to go look. Sorry for ignoring you. Like, we weren't trying to. We're just trying to go as fast as we can to like talk to everyone. But anyways, yeah, like comment below what you thought, I guess. So we're going to go watch Nathan for You now. But see you soon, hopefully. Bye. Bye.